All right. Welcome back, everybody. We're back again with another Tech Support live stream. These have been going really well. We've been loving talking to you guys, helping you guys out with your home network, answering all your questions, making suggestions. It's been a great time for us, so we're doing it again. It's our weekly thing. So if this is your first time tuning in, I'm going to introduce myself. I am Alec. I'm an interactive media specialist here at NETGEAR, which means that I basically do photography, videography, and graphic design for our website and social media and stuff like that. And with me, I have Michael, Angelo, and Darren. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Sure, I'll start. I'm Michael. I'm technical marketing manager, and I get to play with all of the cool tech that NETGEAR has.
And I'm Angelo. I'm the senior interactive media specialist at NETGEAR. Handle a lot of the live streaming, the NETGEAR YouTube channel, and some of the video production. So, again, happy to be here. I'll be filling in for Ben. He is the Nighthawk Pro Gaming brand manager. He's usually here every week, but we're all working from home, and he has other plans with a virtual field trip with his daughter. So I'm happy to take his spot, but happy to be here.
And I'm Darren. I'm a tech support specialist, and I help answer questions in the community and help troubleshoot.
There you go. We got the best team available here. You got the best of the best helping you out with your questions. So we're waiting for some questions to file in. We have some topics we want to talk about. Firstly, obviously we're all at home. It's been this way for a while. We're getting a little more accustomed to it, hopefully. But I wanted to ask you guys, what are you doing on the weekends? Obviously during the week you got work, so you're doing that. But have you guys been trying to go on hikes, get groceries? What are you guys up to?
I'll go first. So usually our routine has been pretty set, I would say. What we like to do on Fridays is we're trying to keep up our happy hour habits schedule. Is that bad? I don't know. But actually what we have been doing is some of our favorite music producers or DJs, they've been doing these live streams, kind of like what we're doing here at NETGEAR. Being more interactive with our audience. Especially in the music industry, it's kind of like tossed on top of its head. So really, when you can't play live concerts, I guess the how they have adapted is going on Twitch and going on YouTube and going on social media to do these live streams where they're playing out DJ sets, and we usually kind of just kind of kick back and watch that, and then on Saturday mornings we're starting to do weekly breakfast and weekly brunch. So that's been fun. Wow, I guess mimosas and drinks, but anyway, we've been having fun. It's been good.
There you go. Keep it up. Anybody else doing anything fun? Anything similar to Angelo?
Well, the drinking part, yes.
I'm not alone. Okay.
Yep. But yeah, the weekend routine is trying to get outside now that it finally has gotten sunny and nice. Definitely want to spend some time outside, usually go for a few hikes, and get the grocery shopping done that I can, especially if you have to go to some place like Costco where you're going to have to wait in line for 20 to 40 minutes before you even get inside.
Mm-hmm.
And lots of computer gaming.
There you go. For groceries, what I've been doing is I show up at like 8 p.m. on Sunday, and there's usually no line. So pro tip for all y'all that are watching, struggling to get groceries, go like right before they close, have your list, just go in, get what you need. That's what I've been doing.
Smart.
Yeah,
There
same for me. Gaming on the weekends, and what's new really is experimenting with recipes, trying to make more food since we have more downtime to do it with me and my roommates.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I've been cooking a lot more as well. So, like you can cook during lunch, like even during the workday.
Yeah.
You got your
Oh,
kitchen,
yeah.
so there
Hey,
you go.
Alec, you gotta share us your chorizo recipe soon.
Oh yeah.
With
Maybe
the
I'll do a
chat.
cooking
Yeah.
stream. Should I do a cooking stream live on the channel?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
Well,
yeah. Comment down below.
yeah. See if you want me to
Figure it
cook
out.
something, I'm kind of a pro. No, I'm kidding. But We got some questions.
Yeah, let's get started.
Let's get started. Let's
How
just
you
jump
guys
right
doing?
into it. So we have a question from Dan, who just purchased a RBK 752, which is a brand new product of ours. We're excited to release it, and we hope you're excited to get it. And he's going to be upgrading from his RBK 853. I'm sorry, RBK 53, not 853. So he has an Orbi and 2 satellites. I think I might have said the wrong kit, but
All right. So
first
Orbi
question.
Wi-Fi 6, you
Yeah.
upgraded. Nice.
Yeah, so he's going to be going to AX 4200, and he wants to know if it will have greater coverage than the RBR 50. How will the 1 satellite on the AX system compare to the 2 satellites on the AC system? I can't speak to that personally. I don't have an Orbi system. Michael, I feel like you might know that.
Yeah, actually, it really depends. The AX systems are very similar to the 11AC systems, which are the RBR system that he has. And the range is going to be pretty much the same between the two systems. As far as the satellites going from 2 to 1, it depends on the coverage that he's actually getting on that right now, and if he actually had dead spots that required that second satellite. There's a good chance that his new system's still going to cover all of the area that he needs, but it is very specific as to the configuration of his home and whether or not he was actually finding areas that required him to definitely have a second satellite.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of want to emphasize here. I mean, we talked about it a couple of times in the show, but especially when you upgrade to Wi-Fi 6, a lot of the benefits that you're going to get is with congestion. So I would be interested to kind of know if you have a lot of IoT devices, if you have maybe 30 to 40 to 50 even devices out there, and if you find that with your old setup with just regular Orbi, the RBR 50, if you're starting to get congestion, it would relieve that congestion, because that's what Wi-Fi 6 is intended to do, is to improve upon kind of the number of devices on the network.
Yep. And that actually helps with the question that Dan had about the difference between Wi-Fi 6 router versus the old Orbi. Is he really going to see a big difference? And exactly what you just said is, if there's a lot of Wi-Fi congestion in his home because of the IoT devices and all the other Wi-Fi devices around the home, then you would see the difference because you wouldn't be hitting those congestion points.
There you go. And his second question, you just answered this there, but his second question was, what's the difference between AX 4200 and 6000? So I believe that our kind of nomenclature for how we name these things is what they're rated for speeds. So the AX 42.
No,
is that incorrect?
not with this one. It's square footage. So
okay.
the 6000 comes with an extra satellite. So there's no difference between the kits. It's just the 6000 has one more satellite that covers more square footage, which you can get separately if you want to get up to the 6000.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Cool.
So yeah, we do sell that satellite separately, so you can basically convert your 4200 to a 6000 if you feel like you're still not getting the coverage that you need. So hopefully that answers your question. Yep. We have a question from Myron. Needs help with Zoom, and he has a Samsung Galaxy Book 2. So we are mostly answering questions about networking equipment and routers and stuff like that. If you're having internet issues, though, let us know what your situation is. We can see if we can help you out there.
Yep. So, so Myron, let us know what NETGEAR product you have. If you have something that we can help you out with, we'd be happy to help out with. But just to everyone in the chat, we'll be here for pretty much 48 minutes, an hour and 48 minutes. These are 2-hour streams. So again, feel free to come and hang out with us, dip in and dip out. We'll be here, but please send us more details so we could best help you out.
Definitely.
Sorry about that. I was wrong. You were right, Alec. There is a difference. It is the speed.
Okay. So the rating for the AX 4200 is going to be 4.2 gigabits per second. That's what it's rated to do up to that. Obviously, you're probably not going to reach that with any internet service provider. So if you feel like 4.2 gigabytes is a high enough rating for you, you should be fine. It's certainly higher than what you had on your previous Orbi, so you're definitely going to be getting an upgrade there on speeds. Okay, so the next question we have is coming from Mike. Almost a month ago, he upgraded his wireless router to the RAX80, thinking it would help with coverage and speed. I'm having slow speed issues from my home office, just over a 1,500 square foot house. So Mike, the RAX80 should handle that size with no problem. Although you will need to consider where you've placed the router. So if it's, if your home office is in one corner of the house and your RAX80 is on the other side, it might not be reaching at full capacity to that other end of the house. I would suggest putting it in the middle if you don't want to buy any more equipment, because my fallback suggestion would be to buy an extender. But I'm curious to know, are you getting good speeds near the router? And what's your modem? Let us know. We can probably help you out a little bit more if you guys don't have any other suggestions.
Nope, that's good. And he did add some additional information about changing the channels that he was on. And his internet speed's 200 megabits a second. So finding out a little bit more about where his router is placed will definitely help, and whether he's seeing those speeds near the router.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Mike, follow up. Let us know. We can see if we can help you out there. Oh, can't move to the center. He's in a townhouse. Oh, so likely you're on multiple stories if you're in a townhouse. I'm imagining. And so Wi-Fi doesn't broadcast the best up and down. Okay, he has a CM1000, so he's totally good on that. I would say that it's really just kind of a physics thing. It's not easy to get it to broadcast up and down as much as outward. So you might want to look into getting an extender.
Let us know if your home office is on a different floor. We're just trying to best kind of imagine your layout. As Alec mentioned, floors, if it's going between floor 1 to floor 2, you'll have a little bit of a drop in speeds, but also the materials of your home too. Depending on the age of your townhouse or what materials the walls are, that's also going to have a difference.
Yeah, definitely. Based off your equipment, it sounds like it's an issue similar to what Angela said. So I think what we would suggest is probably, since you have Wi-Fi 6, let's see, office is my bedroom for this way. Okay, that makes sense. So it sounds like he's got multiple floors. So what we would suggest is the EAX80. Since you do have a Wi-Fi 6 router, you want to be taking advantage of that Wi-Fi 6 technology through your extender as well, not just through your router. Obviously, you could get a Wi-Fi 5 extender and it would work, but you're not going to be getting those benefits that you paid for in the first place. So the EAX80 is going to be kind of the same rated extender as what your router is. They're both kind of that 80 spec. So it's going to pair really well with your router. So I would suggest that. I believe we are, that is for sale, right? Or is that still coming soon?
EAX80.
I believe it's for sale, or it might be coming soon. If it is coming soon, we've already announced it, and so it should be soon. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. I'm gonna drop a link actually, right into. Sorry, I'm gonna kind of fiddle around here. From the NETGEAR account, so feel free to check out the site. But yeah, as Alec
and the
mentioned,
EAX80 is for sale now.
Is for sale now. Okay, cool. So that would be our suggestion. If you have any questions about that product or setup, let us know. But it's relatively intuitive. We just did a stream on Nighthawk Mesh yesterday, and how it works. So it's pretty easy to sync up. Plug it in, hit the Wi-Fi protected services WPS button. It might even be labeled sync now, and they should connect. So
yeah, and again, we would recommend also just to make sure that your speeds or your product is a-okay. Test those speeds next to the router, and if you are getting the speeds that you're supposed to be getting, there shouldn't be any problem with the router itself. So test that out, and also just as a general suggestion, we recommend just being on the latest firmware, just in case there might be something with the software, but most likely not.
There you go. Okay, so next question is from Enoch, and he is looking to purchase a new Wi-Fi router for a 3,200 square foot home. He has AT&T fiber. Any suggestions?
Nice.
What would you
Okay,
suggest?
3,200 square foot. Okay, so just I could kind of relate to this one just because I recently moved into a new home, well, in the beginning of March, I would say, and I moved into a home that has AT&T, switching from Comcast. So I found out that I wanted to replace the modem, or at least use the modem that I originally had at my old house, but because it's fiber, it doesn't, it doesn't have like a coax cable. So what I did was, well, I mean, I won it at the holiday party, but I have an REX 200, and I find that the latest Nighthawk models on Wi-Fi 6 and just plugging it in directly into the AT&T fiber modem has, for me, that's a set it and forget it kind of network, and that's one I personally would rather prefer. I'm not so much as a tinkerer. I'm more of I just want it to work. So it was super easy to set up. And yeah, like you could just use the app to pretty much set it up after you plug it into the modem. So I have an RX 200. Actually, I think we're running a deal on that one, aren't we? Or I have to kind of look into it. But I would say somewhere along the lines of the REX 200 or the REX 120, that should be good enough for a 3,200 square foot home. RX 200, this is one that I use for my home, is about 2,100 square foot, but we have no dead spots. So just kind of take that into consideration if you're worried about kind of dead spots in your home. I would err to the higher performance models just for that extra square footage. And if not, again, we have the EAX80, which would work well with the Wi-Fi 6 network. I think just a general theme with these shows, we've been telling really people to upgrade to Wi-Fi 6 because, I think we're running into a lot of folks that are upgrading their networks for the first time in a long time, and just Wi-Fi 6 is that new standard. So if you guys aren't aware, your new iPhone 11 Pros, the latest Samsung Galaxies, the iPad Pros, they're all coming out with this Wi-Fi 6 chip that would be able to connect to this new standard. That's what I would recommend. I don't know if anyone else has any other recommendations.
Well, definitely with the house that large, we'll probably need something like the EAX80 to add along in that, because unless their router's directly in the center of the home, they're probably going to find by the time they get to the far edges of the home, there's enough walls in the way that their signal's not going to be that good. Yeah, once you get into something over 2,000 square feet, then you start noticing just the square footage itself is starting to be too much for any one individual device.
Mm-hmm. So maybe Orbi too. I don't know if you guys would recommend mesh. We have Orbi, and then I would even consider if you want to compare Orbi and Nighthawk mesh. If really, there's a couple options here, but a mesh network for that square footage could be a good benefit.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest a mesh system for a house that size. And yeah, as Michael mentioned, walls are going to be a big factor. Materials as well, what the walls are made of. If there's metal in the wall, it's going to be a big issue. So yeah, you're really going to be picking between an Orbi system or a Nighthawk mesh system. They're similar. One of them's kind of more for tinkering. The analogy we made yesterday in the stream was that Nighthawk Mesh is more for the Android user, and then Orbi is more for the iPhone user. If you want something simple, it works, it's reliable. I mean, both are reliable, but simple, plug and play. Orbi.
It's set it and forget it. Once you got it put together and plugged in, you pretty much don't have to even think about it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, for that size, I would probably do a router and a satellite in either corner of the home. Could go with 2 satellites. Might be a little overkill. It really just depends where your router is going to be placed.
Yep. And the configuration of the home. Is it multi, story? Is it one long shotgun style house? It really just depends on the layout of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Enoch, let us know if you have any more questions on kind of your 2 decisions here. I guess we laid it down to Nighthawk Mesh if you want to do Wi-Fi 6 on the lower end price budget point. If you want to stick with Wi-Fi 6 but go with Orbi, that's going to be a little bit more on the higher end. Or we still have our popular RBK50, which is our quote unquote like Wi-Fi 5 11AC router that we have been we've been releasing that over the past couple of years. That's more of your middle price range. So that's where we would kind of leave off you with these choices.
Totally. Okay, question from, sorry if I butcher your name, trying my best. Devenesh. When will the Nighthawk AX8 8-stream cable modem router be released? I don't think we have a date for that yet.
Yeah, well, let me have to check. So I believe it's still up for pre-order. So I think this was coming out from CES. I think we launched it. Yeah, it got the Innovation Award. So unfortunately, if I click no, yeah, it's still coming soon. I would say stay tuned. I don't even know if I could give you a window, but even if I did know, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, and
so,
it can also change. So that's just
yeah.
one that we can't really answer too much. I'd say the best one that we could give is just this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay tuned. That's going to be a great product. It's going to be a similar situation of being very plug and play, which is nice. So yeah.
And DOCSIS 3.1, that's good. So yeah, stay tuned. Next 2 quarters. I don't know. I hope no one's watching this, but yes, stay tuned.
Yeah. Okay. So, question from Dan. Can you use an AC satellite with an AX router? We kind of touched on this a little bit before. Yes, you can, but you're not going to be getting that Wi-Fi 6 benefit from the satellite. So we talked about, Wi-Fi 6, the benefits of it being capacity and congestion. And if you're going to get a router, you're going to want that from the satellite as well, unless, maybe you have it somewhere where you don't care too much. Really, that's up to you, but just so you know, yes, but you're not going to get that benefit. All right, got a lot of questions here. Let's keep going down.
Cool. Yeah, thank you guys. Also, please, we're going to go through these as fast as we can, but obviously we want to make sure that we're, good at giving out, good advice. So please, we appreciate your patience. But yeah, we love your comments. So thank you for joining.
Okay, so another question from Rich here. He upgraded his system. He has an AX8, and he added a CM1000. He just had Cox rerun the 1 gig line from the street and a new cable to the modem. Still having drop-off issues. Is it the modem? That could be a lot of things.
Okay. Drop-off issues. Okay. So I'm assuming he's back because he joined previous stream. But yeah, so it can be a number of things here. You upgraded to Wi-Fi 6, you have a modem. So let us know where you're receiving these drop-off issues. I don't know if it's something where you're losing range, or if there's either you're in another room and it's dropping off, or if you're right next to the router and you're dropping off. Let us know at which times and what you're doing, where you're receiving these drop-off issues, and then we could probably be able to kind of get a little closer to diagnosing the source of the issue. I don't know if anyone else has any more insight into how we could help them out.
There's just one additional question. When Rich is saying drop-off, does he mean that the signal is going low, or does he mean he's getting Wi-Fi disconnects?
Yeah.
Or internet access disconnects?
We have heard the disconnects in a couple past streams. And then that was with, the REX80. So and we have a support team on the line too. So if it is a software disconnect issue, we were able to get some guys onto a beta firmware. But yeah, let us know where, if this is like just a pure drop off, or you're just kind of slowing down, because we have a couple options for you.
Cool. So another question, or kind of a follow-up from Mike, was that when he's close to his router in his townhouse that the connection is great. So I think that's definitely an indicator. Just going back to that whole conversation that you're going to need an extender. It sounds like your router and your modem system are running totally fine. So yeah, just kind of validating what we had mentioned. EAX80 is a great option. But let us know what you decide.
And then just sorry, just a little bit more insight into the physics of it, just in case some people aren't aware. When you're on a 5 gigahertz network, that's where we would recommend. It's better for your speeds because there's less congestion. 2.4 gigahertz, that's more of kind of a hangover from the 11AC 11N days. So at least what I do is I put all my IoT devices and all my dumb devices on 2.4 gigahertz, let that get a little bit more congested. That one is better for that load. But 5 gigahertz, I usually kind of keep that a little bit more open, but put things like my computer and my my smartphone on that network. But I have to kind of go back here. So on the RX80, yeah. So try to see what you can do to even maybe move your devices if maybe certain devices are in certain bands. Perhaps that could be optimized a little bit better. But yeah, what's going to happen is with the 2.4 gigahertz network, you will have better range but slower speeds. 5 gigahertz, less range but more speeds. That's really kind of how it is.
Yep, and with the signals going through walls, 5 gigahertz is affected a lot more by walls than the 2.4. So your range is going to get reduced even more trying to go through one or more walls, which is the reason why he has to switch over to the 2.4 when he's in his bedroom office.
Yeah, so definitely seems like a range issue. If you're able to get an extender, that will help out with your 5 gigahertz network, for sure.
Cool. Okay, so question. I'm going to butcher the name, but I'm going to try. Prabharaj recently bought an EX7000 NETGEAR extender, and he connected it to his PlayStation 4 console with a LAN cable. However, my games still lag. I've had the LAN cable for over 20 years. The speeds are amazing. Okay, well, what I would suggest is a 20-year-old LAN cable, even if it has been amazing in the past, is very old. I would definitely suggest replacing that cable, firstly.
And then I would even see if it's, if it's a Cat 5, Cat 6. I forget, we also talked about this in past streams. I don't know if there's one we specifically recommend for these newer extenders. But I would look into that too.
At least Cat 6. I mean, in any case, you're going to need to upgrade the cable. So I would do Cat 6. We have seen some problems with, at least I have personally, seen some problems with plugging directly into the extender. You might have to go in and tinker with some of the extender settings. I know that, I'm trying to remember, I think that you need to disable fast lane for ping spikes or something along those lines. There may be a KB article for that. What I might suggest though is trying going on Wi-Fi and connecting to your router. I don't know if it's too far. That might help your games. But yeah, I was experiencing some ping spikes with an extender as well. So I definitely sympathize with what you're experiencing.
Yeah, and also something that we've talked about in past streams, just inherently the PlayStation 4, especially if you don't have a PS4 Pro, the older ones, I could attest to that. They don't really have the best network cards. So even if you're hardwired, if you let your ISP tells you you're going to get 200 megabits per second down, I'd be very, very surprised if your PlayStation said you're going to get 200. In reality, I'd probably say you're going to get something more of like 20 to 50, just because that's just how Sony is with their network cards. The PS4 Pros have a better one, but I even know that the PlayStation 4 with the first gen ones, like they're not even able to detect like a 5 gigahertz network. So just inherently, you're not going to get full speeds, but still, again, we want to make sure that you're getting the fastest possible speeds because we don't want you to be lagging, especially when you're gaming. So yeah, check the cable and check Alex's advice with the extender.
Okay, so we got a follow-up from Rich, who was having the dropouts, and he said that Cox told him that the modem was the issue, and then told him to buy or to lease their equipment. It does sound like it is possible that the modem is the issue. You could try to, factory reset the modem. That definitely could help, especially if your current router was already working before you had all those cables run. It shouldn't be an issue with your router. It would probably be with your modem, and I'm assuming they ran the cables correctly. So I would try resetting your modem. Do you have any other suggestions?
Yeah. Cable splitters are also a big issue in the home. A lot of people like to use a cable splitter so they can hook their modem and a television set-top box up to the same line, and it can really degrade your signal coming to your cable modem if they're splitting that line right there. The cheap little $2 splitters can cause a lot of problems in a home.
Mm-hmm.
You try to remove it and go straight to the wall.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And thing also with ISPs, sometimes it'll kind of tough. So I know they'll probably give you some dead end advice and encourage you to lease their router. We would encourage you not to, and hopefully we could resolve your issue here. But just in general, once you start owning your own equipment, hopefully we're able to kind of resolve your dropouts and keep you, I guess, on the equipment you already bought. Because once you lease, you're going to be paying monthly. You're going to be just spending more money and on the money you already spent. Yeah.
Okay, so we have another technical question from Ulaganath. With the AX router features, can the AX router use features such as DPI and USB? And would it be possible to use a 4G modem with a AX router? So I'm going to default to Michael and Darren on this very technical question.
The answer is yes, you can definitely hook up a AX router to a 4G modem. In fact, I've done that with our MR1100s before. But you're not. The only features from the AX that you're really getting are within your home, because your 4G modem is going to be a big bottleneck trying to go to the internet. But it's still going to act exactly the same way as it would if you were connected up to a standard modem plugged into the internet. So there's nothing stopping it as long as your 4G modem has an Ethernet port on it.
Mm-hmm. What about the DPI?
Deep packet inspection? Yeah, that's part of what the router does already when the information's coming in on its WAN port. So it doesn't care whether the WAN port's connected up to a 4G modem or an actual physical wired modem connection. It's still going to do exactly the same thing.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, hopefully that answers that question. We have a NPG question from Dynamen's OS. Dynamenos. Okay. When he plays Blackout on PS4 and he has his ping assist to 50, I always find a server with 50 ping. When I do the same with Warzone, it shows the servers as not being blocked, but they will never actually find a game. So I think what you might be running into is, I think that when you're playing Warzone, I think that you might have your geo filter on too tight. So I can hop over to DMOS if that's something you'd like me to do. But basically, you're seeing servers and you're trying to connect to them, and then your geo filter is going to be saying, that's too far. We can't connect to that because it's set too tight. So if you expand that geo filter, for a game as popular as Warzone, I would suggest doing maybe a 200 to 300 mile radius. A lot of people are playing Warzone, so you're not going to really struggle to find servers. I would suggest just setting it to 200 and then playing matchmaking as you normally would. You won't necessarily need to go hand pick servers and find one with good ping. If you have a tight radius, they should all be good. So that would be my suggestion, and I'm pretty certain that's probably the problem that you're running into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the Warzone servers are dedicated servers from Activision, where normal multiplayer is typically peer-to-peer. So it's going to be harder to find a dedicated server if your geofilter is too tight, where that server's in one place at all times, where peer-to-peer, those people are just connecting from anywhere in your area.
Gotcha. I wasn't aware of that. So, my new suggestion would be find the nearest server to you, and then set the radius to catch that server, and then you'll only connect to the nearby server, um, which is going to help a lot. And with a game as popular as Warzone, you shouldn't have any problems with matchmaking. So, that would be my suggestion. Okay, a question
Cool. And
from
oh,
MD, who wants to know how to change the Wi-Fi password. Well, it depends what device you have, but for most NETGEAR devices, you're going to be able to use the Nighthawk app to do that. So go onto the Play Store or the iOS Store and download the Nighthawk app. We've put a lot of effort into improving that app. It's got a great rating. It's very intuitive, very simple to use. You could also do it through the web by going to routerlogin.net, but the app's pretty easy to use, so I'd suggest that. Do you guys have any other suggestions?
No, that's pretty much
yeah,
it. They just have to know the current password to be able to
yep.
log in. And once they're logged in, then either through the app or through the browser, they can go in and go to the change password and give it a new password.
Yeah, let me throw you a couple KB articles. Sorry, I'm pretty sure you
Yep.
would have to use the Orbi app to change the Wi-Fi password. That'll be a little bit different from the Nighthawk app, but still same GUI, same infrastructure, just different skin for a different product. Let me drop you a couple articles. It's really easy. So I'll send you one for the web GUI and I'll send you one for the app.
Oh, I didn't see that he put Orbi. Okay, well that helps.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, but I
Yeah,
got you.
Yep.
same thing. Just download the Orbi app,
Yep.
or you could use the web. Either works.
Cool.
Okay. We answered Rich's question, and then Prabharaj says that he's having packet burst symbols pop up, so that means that you're getting ping spikes. So like I said, I had the exact same problem that you had playing League of Legends. I'd get ping spikes when I was hardwired into my extender. So my extender in my apartment was overkill. I had one from work. My apartment's only 1,200 square feet, and I had a router, an XR500 that covered the whole apartment. I got the extender to hardwire, um, trying to get better connection. But there were issues with ping spikes on it. It's something that we've had brought up the in the community. Um, I believe there is a KB article on what settings to tinker with to help with that. It has something to do with bands. One of the bands doesn't have as strong of a backhaul as the other band. That's what I remember when I was looking into it. Michael, I don't know if you've run into this issue before.
Yeah, I haven't run into this issue, but I have seen that. And you're right, one of the bands doesn't have as strong of a signal as the other one does.
Yeah, so I would definitely look into tinkering on like the My Extender web GUI and seeing if you can change the bands that are being used as a backhaul. That might help improve the connection between your extender and your router, which is going to kind of stop those ping spikes. So the ping spikes are going to be coming because of a drop in that connection. That is where the issue is, almost certainly. You have the same issue that I had. So give that a shot. Let me know how it works. Maybe I'll set my extender up again because I took it down because I didn't want to tinker too much. Okay, question from Felix. He bought the RAX 80 a month ago and is having problems with DLNA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what that is. Okay. He
Yeah.
mounted the disc to the router so he can play music from it, but when I play videos, the router crashes and reboots.
Yeah. Yeah. First off, what DLNA is it's a media playing protocol, basically, that allows you to play basic videos, music, that sort of thing. The router should not be crashing if he's trying to play videos, unless it's a specific video that's causing the crash, some corruption that's affecting the router. That would definitely need to be looked into more. Support would probably need to get a copy of one of the videos that's giving them a problem, see if they can replicate it. But normally, when you're using DLNA, which is just a standard that's been in the industry for probably 15, 20 years, that shouldn't cause any effects on the router and certainly not crashing.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah. see if maybe it's a. It sounds like it could be a format issue. If the video is like a weird format or something. So
Yeah, like I would check the files, MP4 versus MOV. Like I don't know if there's like you know, something kind of like with the software coming from the router, but yeah, there's a couple things we could check here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
there
feel
is
like
actually there's hundreds of different kinds of video formats, as well as even within that format, there's multiple ways of encoding things.
Mm-hmm.
And so there could be something, you know, small in that video that's causing it to actually crash. Normally, though, it shouldn't happen because DLNA is a pretty solid standard. But without testing, you know, on one of the files that causes the problem, can't really know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, look into that. I would definitely say the MOV could be an issue. I've been a PC guy all my life, and I've never had MOVs work ever very well. It's always been a problematic format. But I do have a MacBook for work now, and now it works. But it seems like it only works on Mac and nowhere else. So if it's an MOV, that's probably why. Okay, let's see. Rich is following up. This is the gentleman that was getting drops after Cox installed coax cable. And he mentioned that the CM1000 is less than 15 months old, and there's no split. So what I would say is likely the issue, and let me know if you think that this is accurate. I would say that there might have been some sort of compatibility or just some wonky technical thing going on with your modem picking up that new signal from the new installation of the cable that they ran the coax cable that Cox ran. I would just try resetting that and just starting fresh with connecting it to that cable for the first time. You, I don't think you'd have to call Cox to have them activate your modem again. It should already be activated per the serial number. So I would just reset it. Use the paper clip and hold the button on the back for 7 seconds, let go, it'll reboot. And I think that would really help out.
Yeah, and also you should check with Cox to find out when they said that the modem is bad, because he did post higher up that they said it was the modem causing the problem. Normally, the ISPs can actually ping your devices from their end. And if they actually were doing that ping and the modem wasn't responding, then that does give us a good indication it's the modem and not anything farther down like the router. If they were just taking a wild guess saying it's not working, and so obviously it's a modem, it would be a good test to ask them to actually ping the modem when it's having problems and see whether or not they can ping it from their side. And that tells us right away that the modem is not talking to their system.
Gotcha.
So
let's
let's try to get it down to the modem. Not again, I think I have seen some similar issues in the past streams. When I'm just looking through these comments. So in case it's not the modem, and you come back and let's say we're starting to kind of like take a look at the router. Like I have seen similar, drop off issues coming from RX 80 and 120 users. So we may be able to hook you up with beta firmware that may solve the issue. Again, it's beta firmware, and that's on the assumption that it's the software side, not the modem side. So please try it out. And then if you're still running into issues, like we have a dedicated email that we could put you on one-on-one help with our community support team.
Cool. Okay, we got a comment from Chris, who says that he actually had cable splitters in his home and he removed them, and the speed increased consistently. Definitely that. Cable splitters are very often just cheap 50-cent parts from Amazon. Definitely removing stuff like that from your network is going to improve it. You definitely need good quality throughout. There's so many moving pieces with network. Home networking that one weak, you're only as strong as your weakest link, really. So if you have one of those, it's really going to mess up your whole network.
And if you have to have one because you need to have that split off for one reason or another, and there's no way you can get around it, then the best thing to do is get a higher end splitter, good quality, and one that's powered. And that basically that means that when it's splitting the signal, it's going to keep the signal up to the same level as if the splitter wasn't there. Because a lot of times when you're putting a splitter in, it's automatically reducing the signal power because it's splitting into two streams. And you want to keep that power level up high enough. So if you absolutely have to have it in there, then definitely get a powered splitter, a good quality high end that covers a high enough frequency.
There you go. That's a really good point.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Awesome.
We had a question about the CAX80, and this person really wants to know when it's going to come out. Unfortunately, there's just things that we can't say. We don't even know. I don't even know when it's going to come out. So,
Yeah. It's great to hear the demand on this because obviously, we hear you guys and we're able to address it here on the streams every Friday. I think one benefit we do have is that we're able to pass on that demand to the teams who are creating the products. They're really just an email away. So again, appreciate you guys for that demand. I can't say anything without getting in trouble, even if I knew the answer. But just stay tuned for this year. I'd say in the next 2 quarters or so, but I really can't say much more than that.
Okay. Question from Nico. What do you suggest I do to increase my router range without creating multiple network names with extenders? So you don't actually have to create multiple network names with extenders because my suggestion is extenders. You can actually have the same SSID broadcast throughout your house. And there's actually a kind of, when you go between kind of the end of one and one signal and into the beginning of the next, there's actually a handoff. And it's very seamless. You'll never notice it. That's kind of the perk of a mesh system, is that it's got one name. And that can be accomplished with an Orbi. It can be accomplished with a Nighthawk. It depends what your router is now. If you have an Orbi, add a satellite, and you're gonna have a mesh system. If you have a Nighthawk, add a Nighthawk satellite. You can't go between the two, unfortunately. But I would definitely suggest an extender. Setup's pretty simple. Same SSID. We actually had a stream yesterday about this, and the VOD is on our channel. So if you want to go check it out and watch through it, we have a lot of great conversation in that stream about kind of exactly what you're asking about and mesh networks in general. So check that out.
Yeah, and definitely emphasizing a mesh extender as opposed to a regular extender, because what Nico was pointing out was absolutely correct with older general extenders that weren't mesh, is that you were always having either two Wi-Fi names, or you could name the extender the same Wi-Fi name as your main router, but there was no handoff between the two. So when you connected in, you wouldn't know which one you were connected to. So you want to make sure that it is a mesh extender, and then that easy handoff will happen, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
So the next question is coming from Ulaganath again. Do AX routers support dual WAN, and is it possible to configure loading balancing and failover? He saw this on the X8 and X10. Would there be a model with a 10 gig LAN port as only one with that complete AX? I'm not sure I understand that last part, but we can definitely answer that first bit about the double WAN and the loading balancing and failover. And by we, I mean Michael.
Yep. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And the answer is no. And even on the models that he's talking about, there is no dual WAN. There's only a single WAN. On those, you could actually bond two of the LAN ports together to get a wider bandwidth on having the two ports basically seen as one. But that's not the same thing as having two WANs for failover or load balancing, as he says. And currently, no, none of our routers actually support dual WAN, and the AX routers don't either. You can, though, get the 10 gig LAN port by using the on the R9000 and actually on the XR700, they have the fiber port that's there. And you can actually designate that fiber port as your WAN port, and that's a 10 gig port. And all you need is a fiber to copper if you have standard copper plug-in for your internet drop, and then you would actually get a 10 gig connection on your WAN port. But there isn't any load balancing or dual WAN on any of them.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. We always, on the NPG side, we always praise the benefit of that 10 gig port with switching for in our gaming room at the office, which we all miss so much.
Yes. It's getting dusty.
I
No one's
know.
playing.
There's no gamers
Someone
in
needs to
there.
clean that.
There's nobody gaming in there. There's no. It's just getting dusty. But yeah, we have it plugged into the 10 gig port on an X10 switch, and so we're getting that 10 gig connection to that switch, so that when we partition it out to all the different computers, it's really high speed. We have two X10s powering that whole room, and we used to stream from there. We never missed a beat on those streams. It was always so consistent. So that 10 gig port is very powerful, but it's kind of niche as well.
Yeah.
So it just depends. If I was using it right now, I wouldn't really be maximizing it because I don't have any 10 gig compatible equipment here.
Well, and also that specifically, he was asking about using it as the WAN port. So really, it's 10 gig out to the internet, not to the rest of your devices. Mm-hmm. You can also use it as local instead of using it as your WAN port, and then you could use it directly connecting to your 10 gig switch, as you were mentioning.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so the next question comes from Fox Racing. And they say, hi, I've had multiple devices while I was using an older router G. I don't even know what that router G is.
That's actually the Wi-Fi or the protocol that it's using. That's even before N. It went G, N, AC, AX.
I thought it was like a
so
model.
it's a really old router.
Was that Wi-Fi 3? Wait, yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Dang.
Well, and I've never had this problem until I replaced it with the Nighthawk R 7600. When my devices are on at the same time, my router crashes. Well, if I had to make a guess, and please validate my guess, let me know if this is not the case. If you have a G router, you probably have a very old modem as well. And you can replace just the router to a newer router, like the R6700 that you have, which is a rock solid router. It shouldn't be crashing when multiple devices are on it. The other component to replace would be the modem. I would say that would probably help fix your problem. Worst case scenario, I don't know, how long you've had the 7600. Could do a factory reset. Very small place, has nothing to do with the distance. I'm not a game player. The older, it was just fine. Yeah, I would say check your modem. Michael, would you have any other suggestions?
I can give a good troubleshooting step to find out if the modem is even part of this at all, is when it crashes, it sounds like the router is still running, but he has to restart it. If he has more than one PC or even his phone and a PC connected up, try pinging one of the other devices that's on your network. And if you can't ping the other device, then it's the router portion, because that's not trying to go out to the internet, that's not using the modem, that's just using the router itself to be able to talk between devices. And that'll let him know whether or not the router has crashed. And if it has, then has nothing to do with the modem. There is a definite problem with the router.
Got it. Yeah, says that he has a new modem from Spectrum. So it sounds like you have a new modem. I still want to, kind of to Michael's point, I would still do that test that he mentioned. Often when you get a new piece of equipment from an ISP, it's not actually new. It may be new, in which case it's definitely your router. And in that case, I would reset the router, factory reset. We mentioned earlier, you hold the pin and the little reset button for 7 seconds while the router is on. It'll restart and be completely default everything. That fixes a lot of problems. But yeah, try those out. Let us know.
And I would just make sure with that Spectrum, I know you say you have a modem, but also make sure it's not like a gateway, aka like it's not a router and a modem together. Make sure that you did disable the Wi-Fi, if there is any Wi-Fi coming out of the Spectrum, just because if there's double net and you're in a small place, that's going to be an issue. So yeah, try resetting it and then making sure that your Wi-Fi is disabled on that modem. or a gateway, if that's the case.
They said it stops crashing when they set up a guest wireless network. That is so weird that I'm almost
think that
certain
was
that it's a
just
software issue.
that there may have just been an anomaly, just perfect timing, and
Yeah.
it wasn't actually turning the guest's wireless on that would cause it to stop crashing. Obviously, if that fixed the problem, then you leave the guest network on and you don't have to diagnose anymore. But it sounds like he's still having problems. And so I think it was just a random occurrence that happened at the same time, and it wasn't because of the guest network being turned on.
Gotcha.
I also have a simple solution. Maybe the router's overheating if you have it in a closet or somewhere that's not getting good airflow. Like when all your devices start connecting to it, it starts heating up that router and it crashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really good guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
We're
Try it
happy to
out
give you
again.
advice. Let us know what happens.
Yeah. We're hitting the hour mark, so we'll be here for another hour. So if you want to resolve it today, feel free to circle back here. We'll be here for another hour.
Yeah, I didn't even realize we were halfway through.
Yeah.
All right.
Time flies by, right?
We had a small follow-up from Nico, who says that they have a Nighthawk router. So Nico, to kind of, loop back on what we suggest, a Nighthawk extender would serve you really well. If you have a Wi-Fi 6 router, I'd go with the Wi-Fi 6 extender. If you have a Wi-Fi 5 router, I would, unless you intend to upgrade to a Wi-Fi 6 router at some point, I would go with the Wi-Fi 5 extender.
And
Yeah,
make
you
sure
want those
it's
to
meshed.
match.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, make sure it's meshed. Let us know if you're on Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi 5, and if I'm able to see your response, I could drop a couple of links for you, depending on what's best for your current setup.
Cool. So Brendan mentioned that they have the Nighthawk. This is the individual that was having ping spikes on. No, this was the individual that was not able to connect to servers on Warzone. So I would turn off the Nighthawk traffic meter personally in your situation. I think if you have an XR500, you're going to be wanting to tinker with it more in Duma OS than you are going to be on the Nighthawk app. I think the Nighthawk app for the XR routers is a great way to set it up, but to really dig deep and tinker with your connection, I would do that on Duma OS itself. Yeah. Any other tips?
Yeah, that could be a possibility, at least on my side. Traffic meter helpful, but again, if you don't use it, that's okay too.
It looks
and
like
extra 500.
It looks like I might have read the wrong name. They both had orange. Okay, this individual. This is a completely fresh question. They have an X6. Should I turn off the Nighthawk traffic meter if you're not really using it? If you're not using it, you don't need it.
Different.
But it shouldn't really be impacting your speeds too much.
Yeah, sorry, I guess. No, you were right, Brendan. I believe you're from a couple past streams, so thank you again for returning. Yeah, I don't really know if we're trying to kind of correlate that with trying to kind of single things out. That's usually you'll kind of see us when we're trying to resolve your issues. We're trying to kind of like take out all the I guess variables and then dig down. But Brendan, I believe you're just a general question about traffic meter. If you don't really use it, then yeah, sure, go for it. But it really shouldn't affect your speeds.
No, it definitely is not going to affect the speeds. It's just using up a little bit of the processing power of the router. So turning it off is not going to hurt.
Yeah.
It's all just personal preference, really.
It's kind of a win-win. Leave it on, it's fine. Turn it off, it's fine. I mean, it's not going to make a huge difference. So.
Yeah, it's not something that's a heavy resource hog.
Totally. Okay, follow-up from Felix. Can we send him over the beta firmware for the RX80? Yes, we can. I'll have Angela put that email address into the chat. And then when you email us, mention that you were a stream viewer and that we wanted to get you over some beta software for the RX80. And if you put hashtag stay connected at the beginning of your email, we'll send you over that software for being a viewer. So and the next comment was actually from, did you
Sorry,
put the
I'm just
email?
gonna reiterate it. Yeah. So Felix, I'm gonna send you this right now. Yeah, NETGEAR. Yeah. Oh, let me go ahead and just email that to you, or sorry, message drop that in the chat.
Yeah,
It's gonna
drop
be
it in the
this
chat, and
email.
then just do what I mentioned, and you should be all
Yeah.
set. Actually, the next comment is from a return viewer, Adalberto, who's happy to join the stream, and
Hey, what's
happy to
up?
have him back. He's one of our regulars, and we actually sent him the same firmware, so you guys are in good company. You guys can test out. You
Yeah.
can be a little beta testing community.
Yeah.
Um,
Adalberto, let us know if you know how things are going on your end, because yeah, we're giving that the same advice.
Totally. Okay, cool. So a follow-up from Nico, who was asking about extenders and mesh networks. He mentioned that he has a Wi-Fi 5 router. So Nico, if you do intend to upgrade your router at any point, I'd say within like the next year or two, you could buy a Wi-Fi 6 extender. You're not going to fully max out that performance, but once you kind of pair it with a Wi-Fi 6 router, you're going to have that full Wi-Fi 6 mesh network. If it's not something you're going to do anytime soon, I would just go with any of our Easy Mesh Nighthawk extenders that are Wi-Fi 5. So that's going to be, the EX 8000, the EX 7700, or more commonly known as the X6S and X6. Those are great extenders. There's really everything, there's every price point within the Nighthawk mesh system. So whatever you want to spend, just get that priced item. And, they're all going to serve you well. The higher up, the better performance you're going to get, but they all work well, and they're all going to work with your Nighthawk router. So, okay, this person doesn't plan on upgrading soon. So yeah, just get a Nighthawk mesh extender. Cool. Just as kind of a note for Fox Racing, Brendan mentioned that he placed his X6 on an elevated 6-inch shelf, and it really helped with heat before it was hot, and now it stays cool. Yeah, can't stress this advice enough. I mean, a lot of people are just putting their routers in cabinets, and there's no airflow, and it just heats up in there, and it has nowhere to go. It can't, heat's supposed to go up and away from the router, and if it's just in a tight, confined space, it's just gonna cook it. It's like an oven. So.
Plus, if it's in a tight, confined space, usually that means that it's surrounded by material, wood or something, because they put it in a cabinet. You're hurting your Wi-Fi as well, because you've automatically blocked a lot of the Wi-Fi with the things around it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly.
thank you. Again, we appreciate you guys. For coming back to the stream. We're always here to help out. We're always here to chat. So again, appreciate Brendan, Ed Adalberto. Like, we remember you guys. So thank you again for letting us know if it worked or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Then welcome back, Mad Dog.
No, M-Dog, we do not need a rack mount router.
Full server cabinet. Oh man.
Oh.
I did actually see. I was thinking because he mentioned it in the last stream. I saw an image of somebody who had their router on top of their rack mount.
Yep.
It's not mounted on the rack, but it's on
It's
top
in
of the
the
rack.
rack.
It's kind of similar. So maybe you do that. Just make sure you don't put any metal around it. Otherwise, you're gonna kill your connection. But yeah, it's a cool idea, but unfortunately, with metal being all around the rack, it wouldn't work too well. Okay, got an update from Adalberto, who is a New Yorker. They're still in lockdown. It has been extended until mid-May. I mean, it sucks to hear that, but I think it's going to help you guys stay safer. So push through. I think here in California, we're going to have a similar situation soon.
Yeah. I hope you guys are being safe. We see the news on the other side of the coast, but sending all the love, and we're all in this together.
Yep.
We'll keep doing our best to stay connected with you guys. So we're gonna do this all the way through, all of this show all the way through, and when we're back in the office, we've got so much awesome equipment being set up. We're gonna have like a new streaming station soon for these kind of talk shows where we'll all be together around a table. It'll be like a podcast. So more to come for this show. We've been getting awesome support for it, even in this format. But once we're back in the office, we'll be using one of these. Not 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 my webcam. We'll be getting some awesome quality and audio and everything. So the show is going to glow up once we're back in the office. But
boom, there you go. Yeah.
For now,
happy to do this.
We're glad you guys are enjoying it, even in this format. Okay, so Adalberto also mentioned he's enjoying the beta. Feels like he's not really fully testing it because there's just high pings in general, which is understandable. New York, everybody's working at home. A lot of people there, obviously, so I'm sure there's a ton of congestion. So hopefully once that congestion is reduced, you'll be able to see some benefits of the beta, but hopefully it's stable at the very least. And he says he's going to update to 1 gig fiber and test it out fully once the network spike has gone down and the lockdown is lifted. That 1 gig fiber speed is going to pair really well with your router. I thought you had the RX, was either the 80 or the 120. I think it was the 120. So it's gig speed compatible. So once you get that gig speed on your RX router, you're going to have really fast speed and Wi-Fi 6 to go with it. So you're going to be in Wi-Fi heaven.
100%. And
some more advice from Brendan.
Oh,
go ahead.
So so you say a glass door drastically decreases signal strength. Checked it on the Signal app opening and closing the door. So true.
Absolutely.
Just to kind of like reiterate, especially for some of the viewers in the stream, the moment there's something, right? A glass door, one whole single story floor. If you have like a brick wall versus, I don't know, drywall or something like that, these are all factors that, really, makes everyone's situations different. And just because of that, that's why we're here to really kind of give out that personal advice, because really when it comes to support, you can't put a one size fits all answer to everything. And, so hopefully, again, even if you're, maybe you resolve it today, but maybe something happens next week. Just we're doing these every Friday, so feel free to come back. We're happy to help.
And for Brendan's comment, a good rule of thumb is the thicker the material, the worse effect it's going to have on your Wi-Fi. So when you're talking about drywall, that's thinner than glass, so Wi-Fi is going to get through drywall a little bit better than glass. Metal to glass, metal's thicker, so it's going to have an even harder time getting through. In fact, metal will basically stop your Wi-Fi signal. So you really want to have all of your antennas and your router out in the open where it can actually get the best, Wi-Fi signal and coverage.
There you go.
Yeah.
So,
Alberto,
a little bit more heaven. Wi-Fi heaven. I mean, I don't have gig speeds, so I'll be jealous down here in Wi-Fi, real life.
Wi-Fi 3?
I was going to say purgatory, but I don't want to make it sound like my Wi-Fi is bad. So, all right, well, we're all caught up. So, thanks guys for your questions and keep them coming. We're here to answer them on the fly, but we are currently caught up. So, I wanted to, bring up another one of our questions that we got here from Angelo. He sent us a little list of questions.
Every week.
Maybe this is one that Adalberto can answer since he's here with us. If you had 100 gigabit per second internet, what could you do with it? You do a lot
Rule
with that.
the world.
Man, you could do anything. I mean, I would try. What would you do, Angelo?
Oh, sorry. Curious. I tried to pose it as like a philosophical question. I was like,
philosophical question.
Yeah, why not? Think about it. Like,
use it for good or for evil.
We're in this world. Yeah, imagine we're in this world where everyone has this, right? Like, what do you think we can do with this? Like, I'm imagining. This is my future, and I talked this up in the office like a little bit, especially when we're talking to Brett. He's been in a couple of our other videos and streams. He's like our VR guy, right? They've been doing something where they're messing with cloud gaming with like Shadow and Stadia, right? I literally imagine a future where literally everything is like just a screen where like you could stream anything. Like I feel like everything is just going to be a display that has a really good Wi-Fi card and can stream really anything. So I could have like a supercomputer on something the size of a phone or the size of a tablet, and it's going to be just able to connect in real time to some cloud thing. So I could, let's say, I don't know, play game, like what's a really graphically intense game? I don't know. I could play Crysis on max settings.
Minecraft RTX.
Yep.
There you go. That's what I see a future with 100 gigabit per second speeds. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, you'd be able to actually play VR directly off of the cloud instead of having to have a dedicated local system, because 100 gig would definitely cover that, and you wouldn't have to worry about any lag or anything. So yeah, all the VR all the time.
All the VR all the time.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy
Everything's gonna be at the cloud.
Brett is a VR enthusiast. He's got a Oculus Quest and he's all about it. He talks about it probably once or twice a week. And he has Shadow PC as well. And he demoed to me running VR off of Shadow, and it works like really well. So we're in the future. We've got
We're at the
got
beginning
it
of the
now.
future.
Yes.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. Gosh, 100 gigs. I'd probably buy like an 8K TV and just watch nature documentaries all day. Like,
You would stream it, huh?
I would stream it. Oh yeah, I'd be watching
8K.
Planet Earth 7.
Buy 8K TVs in every room and stream different 8K movies on each one all at the same time.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jeez.
Got a question from Mad Dog here. Do we have a Discord server? This is something we have talked about doing a lot.
For a while.
And I actually, when we were at PAX, myself and Angela, I was trying to meet up with some of the Discord people and talk to them about what's the best practice for a company to set up a Discord server. But I wasn't able to talk to them. But nevertheless, it's something that we have even brought up recently. And I think that we don't have one currently, but I think we're going to make one pretty soon here. Now that you encourage us to.
What do you want to see on the Discord server? Because we could set one up pretty easily, and we've been talking about it for a while. Especially on the NPG side, I think that's definitely, we're growing this kind of group of people that I call them just our friends, but they're people that we want to work with. They're they're streamers, they're influencers, they're gamers, right? So I'd be down to just, set up a server where you could just kind of like, shoot the stuff and kind of just be there to hang out. But if there's anything specific, like, again, we started doing these tech support streams because we started seeing, a lot more people working from home. They needed help. They don't want to get on support. But if there's anything specific you want to see in Discord, drop us a line either here or on social, and we'll do it.
Yeah, and if you would join the Discord server, let us know. We're really, really emphasizing community right now. Obviously, trying to hang out with you guys as much as possible and be there while we're all at home.
Yeah.
So, maybe we could do some live streams with some of you guys on Twitch, stuff like that. We're always looking for more people to play with us. So, usually it's just me, Angelo, and Yoke Boy and Kangaboo. So, expand the group a little bit.
I have a great idea, but I don't know if I want to discuss it here, but maybe offline. But I have a great idea for what we could do with Discord.
Yeah. I mean, now that you got us talking about it, Mad Dog, we're gonna go crazy. We're gonna make the best Discord server ever. So we've talked about doing support channels as well. So thank you for your encouragement.
I think the support, this is something that we're definitely seeing here, and I think that's like our kind of like what you guys have found most helpful, just coming from our feedback. So I think that's something we could easily set up. Yeah,
totally. Yeah. All right, well, we got some questions coming back in here.
Yeah, sweet.
Let's see. So Alberto mentioned if you're a single user, you could do gaming and mid to high use in mobile devices. And I'm assuming he's talking about his RX 200
or the 100 gigabit per second question.
Oh, the 100 gigabit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm telling you, it's the future.
You could do more than mid to high. You could do some extreme gaming on your mobile devices.
Extreme gaming.
Extreme gaming.
To it.
Get like some 90s
big gaming.
like Spike TV graphics, like extreme gaming.
I'm telling you, the 90s hair gel. We're
Yeah.
gonna, everything's gonna circle back, and then we're
There you
gonna.
go. There
I
you
think
go.
that's gonna come back. That's gonna come back
Maybe
when
I'll
we
do a
get 100
stream. I
gigabit
mean,
per second
my hair
speed.
is getting really long. I'll do like a mohawk stream.
Oh man, please do it.
No.
We're
Okay.
But yeah,
So
we're gonna have two
follow-up from
crazy
Fox
ideas here.
Racing, who was having issues with her well, I can't see if it's a him or a her, with their router,
Fox. Yeah.
their R6700. And this is a factor that we didn't know before, and I think might kind of be the answer to your question. This individual is in New York City,
Yeah.
by themselves, and they live 2 blocks away from Madison Square Garden.
That's a cool spot.
Yeah. Place is tiny. So the problem that she's running into did occur before all of this happened. Well, maybe that
Okay.
the you know, all of the heightened traffic is kind of exacerbating the issue. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like we mentioned, try resetting stuff. Turn off the router feature on your Spectrum modem. That's a big one as well. Especially, and this is something we talked about in a prior stream. We talked about the way that Wi-Fi broadcasts. If you have your Spectrum modem router right next to your regular router, and you've got them both broadcasting, it's going to clash, right? Those two signals are right next to each other. You know, I've always found it ironic. This is kind of a funny story. You know, we work at NETGEAR, but our Wi-Fi in the office is really bad because there's so many routers.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a lot of
open up your
testing.
Oh yeah.
exactly. You know,
Oh, Michael knows.
it's all Michael. It's all
It's all me.
Michael.
It's my lab. That's what's doing
It's
it.
the
It's his lab.
lab.
But yeah, you open the settings on your phone to go onto the Wi-Fi. You know, connect to something. There's like 300 networks. So definitely see if your Spectrum modem is broadcasting a signal. Turn that off. That should help a lot.
And
And normally, if you're going to turn it off, what you have to do is put it into bridge mode. And
Mm-hmm.
that you'll need to check with Spectrum on how to do that. I'm sure they have instructions on how to switch it over into bridge mode.
Yeah, definitely look into bridge mode. And I'm very curious to see, like, again, like the number of devices because you've mentioned, if I scroll up a little bit, they're crashing maybe from congestion. So yeah, let us know what you are connecting to it. If it's like a lot of IoT stuff, if it's you're streaming Netflix and someone else is watching Netflix, or I don't know. Like there's there's a lot of insight into what we could get from what is going on in your network, and that's going to help us be able to diagnose it.
Totally.
Okay. Wow.
Totally. Okay. Let's see. We got a shout out from DDDHHH. They said they love American products like NETGEAR and Cisco. Well, thank you so much.
Excellent.
Okay.
And I saw that Brendan had a question up there about getting 360 megabits per second on his NITOP app. And is it the same as 360 GB? No, the megabits is 1,000 times less than gigabit. So if you have a 1 megabit connection as opposed to a 1 gigabit connection, the megabit connection is 1,000 times slower. You mentioned that you're paying for a 360 gigabit service. That's probably not what you mean, because there aren't any services out there that are giving 360 gigabit. In fact, gigabit lines to homes right now are usually in the 1 gigabit range. Some places are having slightly faster, but there's definitely not 360 gigabit connections.
He could be referring to a 360 gigabit cap. I mean, they do.
That's possible.
Tier internet off caps.
That would make the most sense. I could see that, but definitely not speed.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
And that's about the right number for caps. You know, a lot of them were having about 250 gigabyte actually caps, not gigabit caps on them. So that number would be somewhere right about there.
You got a funny comment from Mad Dog. 360 gigabits. I'm moving in. Where are you?
Honestly.
All right.
No parties yet, but later. We'll have a big Wi-Fi party, a LAN party.
We got a comment from Adalberto. If there's multiple users connected to the same network, you will experience lags on gaming and longer wait times on mobile device and tablet devices. Unless you do a QoS on the Nighthawk RX 120 or latest models, and then everybody gets mad at you. Yeah, totally agree. QoS is key.
Yeah.
For a lot of devices, right now.
And oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say right now, my roommate is back at his family's home for the quarantine, so I'm here by myself. So I've got all the Wi-Fi. It's all mine. But when he comes back, I'm dialing him down. He can't be he can't be watching Breaking Bad when I'm playing League of Legends. So
yeah, and especially on Doom OS, that's something that we always talk about in our booths at gaming events. It's really powerful stuff. I don't know if that's something a lot of people know, but QoS is quality of service, where you could essentially deprioritize these devices. So sometimes when I'm talking to, especially when I'm talking to the moms and they have their kid next to them, and then the kid's the gamer, but then the mom is the, obviously the one buying the router. I was like, you could use quality of service where you could, adjust the priority, and then even kind of, you could block their Wi-Fi if you want, and then they usually kind of get the oh, now I'm interested kind of look. You know what I mean? So very powerful stuff.
There you go. And something cool just to speak on, if there's any parents in the chat, all of our products that are coming up are going to be Armor compatible. So we're going to be talking a lot about Armor in kind of our social media and our community stuff, and the power behind Armor. Definitely worth looking into for any parents. We had somebody come up to our booth in Boston for PAX, and he mentioned that he lives and swears by Armor, and how he likes the feature where you can give rewards to your kids for doing certain things. So if your kid takes out the trash, you can give them 40 minutes of Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's setting a very weird precedent there.
Use
but
it
great
as you
for the
will.
business world.
Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Brendan mentioned that his Wi-Fi is 360 megabytes, not gigabytes. Okay.
Awesome.
So, let's see. We got some praise from Fox Racing. They appreciate these live events, and they found them informative. Subscribed to NETGEAR a while ago, never participated in the chat, but we'll definitely tune in whenever you guys go live. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We're going to be releasing our content calendar for next month coming up. Let's see, today's the 4th, so we'll be releasing it sometime next week. I'm sorry, the 24th, not the 4th. Don't go crazy, guys. It's Friday, by the way. I know we're all losing track. But we'll be releasing that content calendar coming up sometime next week. So you can see what events are going to be happening that you can tune into. And you'll have it on Instagram and on Facebook and Twitter, the calendar. So check it out. But just kind of as a cadence to get used to, these are going to be every Friday. So if you want to come to one a week, come here on Friday, same time.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate the support because when I joined NETGEAR, actually one of the first things we kind of did was hey, you're in charge of the YouTube channel. All right, what are you gonna do with it? And I'm like, okay, cool. But we've definitely progressed, and we've been on this journey. We've done a lot of live events in the past, but I think especially we're learning now, despite what's going on outside in the world, I think these support streams are something that you guys find very valuable. Just even being out there and listening to you guys, we'll be doing a couple different things, experimenting with a couple different things. We're streaming on Twitch every day, actually, if you guys are interested in the gaming side. We're doing these support streams on Fridays, and then you'll see in the next calendar, in the next monthly calendar, we're going to start doing these kind of product spotlights, these features for specific products. So we did one on Nighthawk Mesh yesterday. So we got a lot of questions on, a lot of people that don't really know the difference between Orbi and Nighthawk Mesh, or what's the difference between Mesh and Extender, et cetera, et cetera. So, if there's really anything you guys want to see from us, just comment. And then these are all things that are really good to know because it's all for you guys. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you guys.
Totally. Yeah. Okay, well, we got another question from Mad Dog here, who has the X6 R8000 router and wants to know if we would suggest upgrading it. That is a opinion more than a fact. You could upgrade it. I'll put it this way. It's like when you go to a dealership and you drive a new car. It feels really nice. And maybe you're like, you know what? I need it. Give me the new car, and you buy it. Or maybe you get back in your old car and it feels just fine. It just depends if you feel like you need that upgrade. If you're getting congestion, if you're lagging, if your speeds aren't as fast as you need them to be for 4K streaming, if you have kids, parents, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles in your house, and you all want to be streaming 4K and you're dropping, then you need to upgrade. It really just depends on your situation. But if and when you do upgrade, Wi-Fi 6 is the move. We have a great portfolio of Wi-Fi 6 products at multiple price points. We have mesh networks, we have just routers, so on and so forth. So that's my kind of long-winded answer. It just depends.
Yeah. But if you're a hardcore gamer, then definitely go for the pro gaming line of routers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, we really have something for everyone here. So again, these streams also kind of help with recommending products. So let us know if you're a gamer or if you have like a family with a lot of kids who are streaming, or you live in a 4-story townhouse or something like that. We've heard a lot of things, but I don't think there's been any situation where we're just like, I have no idea. So just give us the details and we'll help you find something. There's always something for everyone.
We got a comment from Brendan that he reconnected his Chromecast to the TV power outlet, and it stopped it from vampire eating Wi-Fi when the TV is on. He had them man's powered. Well, there you go. I'm glad you tried that out. I think it's a great way. I mean, why not? If you're not using it, turn it on. I mean, it saves power too. So like,
and it's a no-brainer. You never have to think about turning it off.
Mm-hmm. This DDDHHH has a Netgear N150 at their home. It has a compact size and is pretty good at spreading power for watching movies. So there you go. I'm glad your product's working out for you. Let's see. MDog TV is a full-time content creator and gamer. There's 2 others in my house whose internet is Netflix, etc. I get 500 down and up. I'm mostly LAN, but the rest of the people are on Wi-Fi. If you're a gamer, I would definitely suggest the XR series for NPG to be able to kind of give priority to yourself and your games. Yeah, and then if you're a content creator, something that I would really suggest, and something that I actually have set up at my desk back at the office, I have a switch set up with a NAS, a ready NAS, and because I'm also doing content creation for NETGEAR, so I feel like you're probably doing video, which is more storage. I'm doing mostly photos, but I really like being able to finish up a project, and then just dump it on the NAS. And if you're not sure what a NAS is, it's a network attached storage. And basically, it's kind of like having Google Drive, but just on your desk. You can access it remotely. You can access it wirelessly on your network, or you can even hardwire into it. I think it's a great solution for content creators for storage. If you're streaming, you want to record your streams and do like a highlights or something like that. Put it on the NAS, and then it's going to be there forever. As far as
I was going to say, I actually have something like that set up here at home in my office, where I've got a 10 gig network card in my PC that then goes up to the 10 gig gaming switch we have that happens to have two 10 gig ports on it. And then the other 10 gig ports goes to the NAS box I have that has a 10 gig interface. And when I move data back and forth, if I have to move large files, it just screams. So if you're a content creator and you want an easy way to get stuff onto local storage, or you need to pull it back onto your computer to work on it some more, it's a great way to do it. You can move a lot of content very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yeah, and just kind of coming from my experience to talking to people at especially the gaming events. So I've run into a lot of the streamers out there, people who are content creators. They responded very positively to our Night Harper gaming offering. So especially if let's say you are a streamer, some content creators call themselves streamers, some streamers call themselves content creators. Something that really kind of sells it right away, I would say, is when they realize that I say, when something is your source of revenue, which is, let's say, streaming, you don't want to compromise anything when it comes to the hardware that you're buying, right? If you have a professional, let's say, setup, let's say you got a powerful PC and you got all the best equipment in the world, but your internet still sucks. It's, what are your viewers going to tell you when, you start lagging and you start dropping, right? So that's not a good look for anyone. Yeah, perfect, right? So I would say the streaming use case is the most applicable to what you could do with Doom OS and Night Harper Gaming. You could make sure that your PC is number one in your network. You could make sure that you could see in real time, hey, maybe if you got some other guys that are in the house, you could let's say you see on the Chromecast or like on an Xbox in the living room starting to use up a lot of bandwidth. You can see that in real time, and then you could go right into the quality of service settings, and it's like a little flower. I don't know, like if you want to kind of dig in a little bit and Doom OS and show this off, but you could really prioritize everything in real time. And if you're a streamer, again, you want to make sure you're number one in terms of your network, because that's your source of revenue.
Yeah, and if you have a NAS with a 10 gig connection, I just want to clarify, it's not going to be a 10 gig wireless connection.
Wired.
Yeah, it is going to be wired. It's not going to be wireless. Sorry, I don't know if I enunciated well enough, but yeah. So if you want to get 10 gigabit connection with your current NAS, look into getting the proper Ethernet support for that from your device. You could run it through a switch, or you could run directly to the NAS if you'd like. A lot of NASs are going to have multiple ports, and so if you want to connect like your PC that you're streaming from directly to a NAS via a 10 gig connection, you can transfer files to that NAS at 10 gigs a second. You can run it through a 10 gig switch. I mean, there's a lot of options for doing that, but yeah, I'll pull up the GeoFilter. I'm sorry, the quality of service slider here, so you can see what we're talking about. So it looks like this. Let me just make sure my audio is good here. Yep. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of what Angela was talking about. You can click and drag these to get more or less bandwidth for each of these devices. Mine's currently even because I only have like one device on my network right now, so there's really no reason for me to like go and tinker with it. If I look at my network monitor here, you can see that the only things that are popping up are going to be, so it loads up here, this computer that I'm streaming off of. It's taking up my entire network, and there's nothing else on it. I have a mural here that, when I download photos, it uses bandwidth, but nothing else really. So, cool feature to have for gamers, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so again, that's for MDog. If your current setup is working okay, we wouldn't want to recommend anything that will break your current setup. But when you're looking for that next step to upgrade, I think as a gamer, as a streamer, as a content creator, this is the best product for you. The any of our Night Harper gaming routers, I would say, for the X6, a true hardware upgrade would be to the XR700. that would be a proper hardware upgrade for you. But again, it depends on your kind of budget, because it's a little bit more of a, let's say, like a premium for our not-ever gaming products. But again, I think it'll sell itself, the moment you're able to kind of tinker with it, and then really just make sure that your network is prime when you're streaming. Like, again, you don't want to risk anything.
Totally. Okay, cool. We have a question from Trino or Treno. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I have Cox Gigabit service that requires DOCSIS 3.1 capability to take full advantage of the Cox speed offering. I'm currently awaiting the delivery of a NETGEAR Nighthawk modem router combo C7800. However, in researching Wi-Fi 6, I'm wondering when Wi-Fi 6 will release I'm wondering when NETGEAR will release a Wi-Fi 6 modem router combo. So this is a question we've gotten before. We do have the name, and we have announced it. What it is, it's going to be the CAX80. It's going to have that. It's going to have kind of the same spec as the RAX80 and the EAX80 extender. We don't have an announcement. We haven't announced the date yet. We've just announced that it exists. So we can't really talk too much about that aside from its existence and that it's coming. We don't even know when it's going to come out. And if we did, we couldn't really talk too much about it until we publicly announce it. So
yeah. But again, this is all really good stuff. This is stuff that we want to hear, because I'll tell you, like, what I do, I save all your guys' comments, and then I package it all up and send it off to our executives. The product team's going to know, the executives are going to know, just straight from you guys, what you want to see. So far, I've seen a lot on the CAX80. You guys are really into DOCSIS 3.1 and Wi-Fi 6. Like, I hear you guys. I'm taking note. I've seen a lot on the M5 mobile hotspot. There's a lot of demand here for people who are they want that kind of remote kind of flexibility. Don't want to be tied into through their coax cable into their house. And 5G is really going to be something that's going to be taken off in the near future. And yeah, everyone's going to know, hey, what do the guys want? They want the CX80. They want M5. Let's see what we can do to get the information out, because I always feel bad when I'm like, hey, you guys want to hear when these things are coming out. We just personally can't tell you guys because we'll get in trouble. But again, this is all feedback that's being passed around every week whenever you do these streams.
Totally. Yeah, we also oftentimes just don't know. I don't think I have no idea. I don't think any of us know when that's coming out. So cool. Well, perfect timing for our final question from Angelo here. If I could just pull up what he asked. We talked about our weekend routine, and I think for pretty much all of us, it involves some form of gaming. Naturally, we are gamers. What game do you plan on playing this weekend? I will let Darren, you start. What game are you going to play this weekend?
I believe I'm going to play Warhammer Total War 2 with my roommate, which is a really long campaign, so it probably will eat up the whole weekend if we get into that.
Ooh, whole weekend. Dang.
There you go. Endless content.
So with me, legit, I want to be, there are two things that are on my mind. One is Remnant. So we have a partnership with Perfect World Entertainment, and we do a couple campaigns on Twitch every now and then. So there's this game called Remnant from the Ashes that we're currently supporting on, and it's a game like Dead Souls, and it's a really, really freaking hard game. It's a third person kind of shooter, kind of like melee, whatever you call it. But the cool thing is that everything is like procedurally generated, so everyone's game experience is a little bit different because the maps are different and the enemies you see are different, right? So every time, even if you play it from beginning to end, you're gonna have a different experience if you play it the second time. And they have new DLC coming out, and I think this is something that I'm gonna be playing in the upcoming streams, Remnant. And I want to make sure I'm not absolutely horrible at the game when I'm on Twitch. So I'm gonna be playing that, and then I also played Subnautica on the Xbox. It's on Game Pass. I played that on my last stream this past Tuesday, and I didn't get very far in an hour. So I need to stop embarrassing myself and actually play these games and
I think he
be
died
good on
in
camera.
the hour. I think he died 3 times. I tuned into that because I wanted to see the world burn.
I'm so upset. It's like, dude, the game's good. It's just it's very hard to get some crafting things. It's hard to find things.
There's a learning curve.
There's a learning curve, yeah.
There you
So I'm trying my best here.
I have a kind
How
of
about you guys?
shameful admission. I'm back on old school RuneScape. I wish I could
Wow.
come to you guys and say I'm playing like some competitive online games and really advertise our products, but I'm playing a 13-year-old game. My account's I'm almost level 100. I'm getting pretty far. I think I've got like 400 hours in it, and I'm picking it back up. I quit for about a year, but as I'm locked at home by myself, I need some nostalgia. So there you go. That's
Very
my game
cool.
of choice right now.
Yeah. And I'm planning on doing
play what
Star
he
Trek
likes.
Bridge Crew. A friend of mine just got her Oculus Quest, and so we're all set to spend a little bit of time over the weekend playing that.
That's cool,
There
man.
you go.
Star Trek Bridge. So that's a VR game, huh?
That's a VR game. Yep.
Exclusive. Yeah. All right. Because we do a couple things with Perfect World and Star Trek, but I'm pretty sure they're different in terms of the developers.
Yep.
That's cool. I didn't know they're coming out with so much of this stuff for Star Trek. I was like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot.
And the Bridge Crew is
Popping.
fun because you can have up to, I think, 4 or 5 people, each person playing one of the different stations on the bridge. So it's a cooperative game to complete missions.
That's cool.
So is it like there's like a captain and you
Yep.
guys are all controlling different parts?
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm just
Michael's
thinking
the
of that
captain.
Black Mirror episode.
No, my friend Lynn, she's the captain. I'm tactical. I get to fire at anything that moves. That's what I like doing.
Okay. All right.
So it's
all
not
right.
like the Black Mirror episode, right?
No. The very first mission, which is the training mission, is the Kobayashi Maru. So you kind of get an idea of what happens at that. We lose.
Okay. All right. I got to check it out.
I really want to get a VR headset.
They're awesome.
Yeah, I know. And you used to have to set up the tripods and all that and have like the cameras, and now you can just get the headset. That's it.
Yep.
That's Brett.
Ask
Yep.
Brett.
I do recommend getting the USB 3 cable though for the Quest, because there's a lot of games that require more horsepower than the Quest headset can handle. So with the combination between that and the cable, you can pretty much play any of the VR games.
Okay. Something I'll probably invest in when I have a larger place. This is like
Now with the Quest, you can set up a work or play area with a 2x2 if that's all you've got.
Oh, really?
You won't be moving around a lot, but you can
have
do
a
it.
big spot.
okay.
big
Well,
by
maybe
Bay
I'll do
Area
it soon then. Maybe I'll do it soon. Maybe I can do some streams. Okay, so we got a question from let's see, where were we? Mad Dog wanted to know that if he upgraded to the XR700, do I just WAN into that like the R8000? It's same setup as the R8000. So however you have the R8000 set up, do the same thing. Should be pretty easy if you already have your modem activated and everything. So cool. And then question from Big. Hi, I've recently upgraded from the RX 80, which worked fine, no problems, to the RX 200, and this individual is unable to connect wirelessly using the 2 gigahertz channel. It's intermittent and keeps dropping.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's similar to the dropout stuff that we've been hearing, right? I mean, I would still try to diagnose it, seeing if there's anything outside of the beta firmware. That's kind of like I don't consider that the perfect be all end all solution for this. It seems like that this is just the commonality that we're starting to see here from these streams. So I would say if you're intermittently dropping on only the 2.4 gigahertz channel, my first hunch is, one, is it on only one specific device, or is it across everything? Like, are you dropping out on your computer and then your IoT devices are cutting out, or is it just your computer and everything else is fine? I would see, if you're close to the router and you're on that 2.4 gigahertz network, is it working just fine? And then maybe if you're getting farther away from the router, things start having issues. Let us know. Again, here we have about like 12 minutes left, so we're happy to help you until the end of the stream. We do these every Fridays, but let's see what we can do here in terms of the details you could tell us, and let's try to help you as much as we can. And if not, there is a beta firmware, but again, I don't want to keep sending you guys that because that's not the perfect solution here yet.
Also, I can recommend one thing to try is go into the router's admin screens and change the 2.4 gigahertz channel that it's on, which is usually set to auto, to either 1, 6, or 11, because those are channels that don't overlap with other channels, and that might help if it is a Wi-Fi issue with other Wi-Fi actually causing problems.
Cool. So a couple of options to try. Feel free to give it a shot now. And if you're able to get results within 10 minutes, we can give you one more advice tip. And at the very latest, we'll be back on Friday for another stream. So let's see. The follow-up question was, is there an issue with the RX 200 firmware? Not as it pertains to this that I'm aware of. I think Michael would probably know best on that one.
Not specifically, but with this particular issue, the beta firmware might address, whatever the problem is, but I think doing some more troubleshooting first would be better, because it never helps to just change the firmware without having a better idea of exactly what the problem is.
Yep, exactly. So Big Bout, feel free to let us know, just send us any more details, what you've tried, what you haven't tried, and then let's try to get you up and running.
Cool. Okay, I think we addressed all of the questions. Brendan says he's still playing Modern Warfare 2. That is my game. I love that game. Let's see, does Smart Connect or QoS assign their own radio channels? I actually don't know that.
Do they assign their own radio channels? Smart Connect, I just thought that it was just magic. I don't know. I press a little button on my app and then it works. So
the answer is sort of yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes, the channels that are being selected are automatically being selected, but it's not because of Smart Connect or QoS. That's a completely different module inside the router when it tries to find the best channel that has the least amount of interference. So Smart Connect and QoS don't directly affect that, but in the background it is happening anyway.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's cool. Yeah, I really have no idea how that works.
I don't either.
Good to know. Good to know. This is very technical stuff, especially with Wi-Fi. It's what did I read one time on a subreddit? I heard it's like Wi-Fi is like a box of rabid kittens. I stole that. Sorry, it's from a competitor, but it's true. I feel like there's a lot, and it's just like there's so much to physics and radio and waves and frequencies that I'm sure there's a lot of technical guys out there that find a lot of value in that, and I'm just like, whoa, that stuff flies over my head.
I think it's kind of crazy, like being in this space as a company, like with stuff like cell phones, right? Apple and Google have made it such a simple thing, something so technical, so simple. And with Wi-Fi, we're always trying to make it something that's so accessible and so easy to set up, even though it is this complex monster to conquer. And I think we've been doing a pretty good job. I mean, especially with Orbi. I mean, Orbi is so simple to set up, and it's a great solution. That's easy, and it really tames the rabid box of rabbits. But we're always trying to find ways to make it easier, especially with our emphasis on mobile. The mobile app. We got the Nighthawk app. It's really great, and it's been performing well. People are liking it. And then there's the Orbi app, which is also really simple, really easy to use. So every every year we're making it easier and easier to connect your devices and set up that network, that home network that everybody needs.
Yep, and that's what Smart Connect is specifically designed for. Is that function basically means that when your device connects in, it decides whether you're going to be connected to the 2.4 or 5 gigahertz band on whichever one will actually give you better performance at the location that you're in. Mm-hmm. And with QoS, that's just optimizing the data that's going back and forth to make sure that no one particular thing is going to override everything else. So for instance, if you have a video playing, it knows that video can buffer, so it doesn't have to allocate as much resources to that as it would be for something that requires, precise timing like your gaming.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Algorithms.
That's really awesome.
There you go.
Yeah. I didn't know this stuff. Michael, this is why we love bringing you out to the show, because I could not give that same explanation.
Well, thank you. That's why I'm here.
Of course. Yeah. So, everyone in the chat, almost down to our last 5-ish minutes. So, please let us know if there's anything else that you guys need help with. We're out here every Friday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time. It's usually us four. Ben might be on the one next week. So I'm usually the sub for these tech support streams, but we also stream nearly every day on Twitch, usually Monday, Thursday, unless someone has a meeting or something comes up. So find us on twitch.tv/NighthawkProGaming, and then keep a lookout for some of these newer kind of streams that we're starting to do with guys from the product team. So you'll have pretty much kind of the same way that you have a direct hotline to us as support experts, I would say. We're also bringing in the guys who led the teams that designed the product, who brought it from pretty much idea to production, essentially, right? So we did one on Nighthawk Mesh yesterday that the VOD is on our YouTube channel. If you just literally click to the profile and click back one video, you'll find it there. So anything else you guys want to see, just let us know. But we're here for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, take care, Brendan. Thanks for tuning in. He's one of our repeat viewers, so always glad to have a familiar face back in the chat. So take care. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Brennan. Thank you, Treno. Thank you, regulars, for coming back. Even here just to chat with us, because we wouldn't have met you guys unless we did unless we started these streams. So we appreciate you guys coming back here and just hanging out. Cool.
All right, so I'm trying to think of any questions we could ask.
We asked gaming. We asked hobbies. We've asked hypothetical internet questions. Last week we asked, you're on an island, you didn't have any internet, or what was it? If you didn't have internet for a month, what would you do?
Cry.
Especially during now.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be unemployed. You need it. You need it to do your job,
Yeah, that's true.
Well, especially right now, since we haven't been in the office for about 6 weeks.
Yeah. When you put it that way, it's even more scary.
In fact, I have a calendar that I've been marking off the days and numbering them, and I think we're on day 46 now.
Why are you doing that? It's like a cool reminder.
Exactly. It's a cool reminder, How long were you in the zombie apocalypse? And you've got
I said cruel.
The calendar to prove it.
I think it's interesting to keep track because, I don't even know what week it is anymore. I completely lost track. I remember, I think I said it in a couple streams back. I woke up on a Monday, I want to say 2 weeks ago, to my alarm, and I looked at my alarm and I was like, why did I set that? And then I was like, wait, it's Monday. I was like positive it was still the weekend. Oh
No,
man.
that's even worse when you think it's the weekend, but in reality
I
it's
know, I was
Monday.
like mad.
Yep.
I was like mad at myself for setting the alarm on a Sunday, and then I realized it was actually Monday. It was the
And then you're
worst.
just depressed.
Exactly. I woke up and I like I drank my coffee, and like usually coffee like, gets me excited. It's caffeine. And I was just like I'm still now I was like angry and caffeinated. Just
Angry
made
and
me mad.
caffeinated. Aren't you getting more sleep though? Is that for everyone here?
Yeah,
I get more
No,
sleep personally.
I'm not
Yep.
getting more sleep.
How?
I
So,
feel like I sleep less because like I'm not
thank you,
spending
Dan.
energy.
Exactly. Yeah,
What?
I feel like my problem is that every day feels like, I just graduated. Like I feel like I'm on summer break. Like I'm home, I'm not going to class. Like it's summer. It's getting warm outside.
It's getting warm. It's so
And
nice.
during the summer you stay up late, you like, play League of Legends until 4 a.m. Not that I'm doing that currently, but I feel like I go to bed at like 1:30 every night, and I wake up at 8. So
Eight.
I'm not getting my 8 hours.
All right. 8 o'clock. I hear that.
Is
No,
that
I
too
think I
late?
say
I mean,
no.
my commute goes from right about here to here, so I don't have to wake up that early.
I like how your commute doesn't include the shower or brushing your teeth,
Okay, well it
doing your
does.
hair.
I don't have to do
No,
it in
but
my
he does make his
car.
detour to Starbucks in the kitchen.
Dude, that's so
Yeah,
funny.
I've been buying the bottled like cold brew from Starbucks.
Yep.
So not like the little tiny ones, but like the big gallons. So I don't have to like go buy coffee every morning, and I can cut down on actually making it because I have a Chemex, but I don't want to. It's too much time. It's like a weekend thing.
You want
That's
your coffee
true.
right now.
I
You want
know
to have a
exactly,
drive-through in your kitchen.
But then
exactly.
you should have something to look forward to on the weekend, whether it's a fancy coffee or if it's
Yeah,
a
the Chemex on the weekend is
breakfast,
nice.
something
I got
like
my
that.
Just
coffee
a second
grinder.
cup of coffee on the weekend.
That's how we do it. So I guess with that, thank you, Adalberto. I hope you have a wonderful weekend as well. Really hope to see you next week. Really happy that we're able to do this for you guys who come in every week because we love hearing from you guys and just kind of hanging out. So we'll be doing this from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. I hope you look forward to your Chemex coffee. I'm looking forward to
I'll go make one right
watching
now.
my DJ live streams
Maybe I'll do a
and
coffee live stream.
making breakfast. So, yeah, I'm good on my side.
Sounds
All right,
good.
guys.
All
I
right,
think we're
man.
gonna close out, but
All right. Thank you, chat.
Take
appreciate
Appreciate you
care.
guys
everybody
coming out. Thank you,
returning.
Undog. Yes. Homework for next week is Discord. So, hey, we'll bring that up on the next Twitch meeting, Alec.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on Monday, and maybe we'll make it happen.
We'll have
But
more news for you
all
guys.
right, everybody. If there's nothing else to say, we'll end the stream here. Take care, guys. We enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Cool.